Those of you who've been around this channel for a while may be thinking that today's subject seems familiar. Back in January of 2019, which honestly feels like many more than 3 years ago, I made a video about Bright Memory, a game developed by FYQD Studio, which was a studio staffed by one guy alone, Zheng Zhancheng. Oh yeah, prepare to hear me butcher Chinese pronunciations. The first Bright Memory was a labor of love, being developed in Zheng's spare time along with a little financial help from one of Epic Games' Unreal Dev grants. For Bright Memory Infinite, it's unclear how many more people Zheng was able to bring on board for the project, but I doubt it was more than a handful. As of November 11th, 2021, Bright Memory Infinite was released, and since I thoroughly played the previous installment, I knew I would have to hop into this one as well. Not to mention, Infinite was free because I owned the previous game. With all that out the way, roll the intro. I had to dust off the intro for this, it just didn't feel right otherwise. Bright Memory Infinite places you in the soggy boots of Shelia. In the older video, I referred to her as Sheila and also Shirley once, but come on, this name is a dyslexic nightmare. Shelia works for the SRO, the Supernatural Science Research Organization. I think that initialism is missing an S, but I digress. Shelia is tasked with tracking down a supernatural artifact that is believed to be the source of the gaping black hole that is looming over this region. All that's standing between her and her goal is this guy, General Lin, and his soldiers of misfortune, because I don't think they woke up today expecting to be chopped in half by a heavily armed Chinese girl. There are also supernatural enemies like ancient Chinese warriors and giant demons, which will take more than a few bullets to kill. The previous game had flying demons and skeletons and more creatures of that nature, but I'm unsure why those enemies didn't reappear in this game. One thing that remains true is that the areas you explore are fairly small and linear. Ammo pickups are everywhere, and there are reliquaries placed just out of sight. Reliquaries are basically skill points, and they unlock or improve Shelia's psychokinetic or weapon abilities. As far as ranged combat goes, Shelia has access to a basic assault rifle, an overpowered shotgun, a full auto pistol with electrified ricocheting rounds, and a sniper rifle for those hard to reach enemies. Each gun also has an alternate ammo type, my favorite among them being the sniper rifle sticky bombs. Shelia is also equipped with an Exo unit arm and a sword. The Exo unit arm allows Shelia to use EMP pulses to push or briefly levitate enemies for extended combos, a grappling hook with a ridiculous range which can also yank enemies into melee range, and it also lets her use powerful attacks like the shock punch, which is great for obliterating an enemy shield. Shelia's sword is the go-to for melee combat, which lets you attack with blinding speed to chain damage combos or parry enemy melee attacks to knock them off balance, allowing you to get in some risk-free damage. Weaving melee, ranged, and special abilities together works exceedingly well, even more so than in the previous game, and the soundtrack only makes it more epic when you pull off those sweet combos. Getting 100 kills with each gun as well as the sword will unlock various skins for the weapons, and clearing each difficulty will unlock additional outfits for Shelia. If you want to support the developers or you just want to dress Shelia up in different outfits, no judgment here, more skins are available for purchase for a very inexpensive price. This game is a definite improvement over the first, truly showcasing Zheng's commitment to making a masterpiece. Nevertheless, I still have to point out a few flaws in the execution. For starters, I can appreciate how hard it would be to animate a character mounting a ledge, but when the badass music is blaring and the walls are crumbling around you, the mantling shouldn't be this slow. It's not game-breaking, but it's definitely a bit jarring. A more serious offense, the stealth section in the second chapter. Some kind of disturbance renders Shelia's weapons all unusable. Even the sword, you know, the bladed piece of metal which is within arm's reach at all times. The game then tells you to arm yourself with whatever you can find and avoid detection throughout the area. Shelia finds a meat cleaver, you know, a bladed piece of metal, and then the game lets you stealth kill the enemy soldiers. What happened to her perfectly usable sword? I didn't know EMPs or electrical disturbances could inhibit a person's ability to hold and swing a sword. I guess you learn something new every day. I won't even mention how weird the detection range of the enemies is. The other, less serious but still noteworthy offense is the driving section towards the end. Your air support drops a car in for Shelia to use briefly. Extra points to whoever can figure out what model car was the inspiration for this design. Anyway, the driving controls are horridly stiff, to the point some turns that you have to make are extremely difficult. Then there's the mounted gun on the passenger side that is a bitch to aim because the gun can't move independently and the shots don't hone in on the enemy vehicles, forcing you to point the car at whatever you're trying to kill. The driving section was only about 2 minutes long, and it was the most annoying 2 minutes of a game I have played in quite some time. I can almost forgive it because immediately after dishing the car, you are right back into the action. I'm sure Zeng was just testing his ability to craft stealth or vehicle sections, and that's fine. You never know what you can or can't do unless you try it. Be that as it may, I have simple fixes for both. For the stealth section, just make it a melee only section against hordes of soldiers. Shelia's parry can deflect melee attacks and bullets, plus, coincidentally, those are the only two types of attacks that any of the soldiers can use. This would serve to hone the player's melee prowess and sustain the smooth and constant flow of over-the-top action that the game had up to that point. As for the driving section, the goal is the same: sustain the over-the-top action. The car can be remote controlled to some degree, and with all the other technology seen thus far, I have no reason to believe the car can't be set up to autopilot. While the car guides itself, Shelia can aim out of the windows to dispatch pursuing enemies, or even stand on top of the car while grappling to the other vehicles to take out the enemies at close range, thus preserving the action. But that's just my 2 cents. Despite my 2 specific issues with 10% of the game, the action-packed nature of the other 90% is still awesome and worthy of a playthrough or two. The previous Bright Memory was only about $7 or $8, which made sense because there were fewer weapons, fewer abilities, and the game length was shorter. Bright Memory Infinite is $20, which might not sit right with some, especially when I tell you that the game took me just under 2 hours to complete. I didn't expect a 10-hour game of this style out of a team of only 1 or 2 people, but 2 hours is a bit short. If you do a second playthrough to unlock some character or weapon skins, or even get all the game achievements, that will add on maybe another 2 hours, 2.5 at most. Who knows, you might enjoy the game so much that you 100% it and still continue to play it. Everyone's different. There's also the option of waiting for a sale. I've said all I have to say about Bright Memory Infinite. You can pick the game up on PC or the Xbox Series S and X. Surprisingly, it looked like there was also a mobile version, but when I looked it up on the App Store, it was a mobile port of the first game, so I wouldn't try it. There's a good chance that Zeng Zhancheng is already hard at work on the next part of Bright Memory, so if you want to keep up with him, I linked his Twitter down in the description. As for us, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you want to see more like it. This has been Cygnus Jason, and I will catch you all on the game side. Later.